Welcome in the latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And I'm joined, as always, by cousin Shane, who goes by Big Orange Vols on the Twitter machine. What you up to, yo, Tennessee Hober?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, man. So much. I was telling you off air, these damn quarterback rankings. I may have to stop doing them, Shane, because we got people in Alabama and Florida and Tennessee and this, that, and the other hitting me up, wanting me to do all these shows. So it's pretty bad when we're making the news. That should give you an idea of how slow things are right now.
Well, slow, yes, but we just got the official kickoff for SEC Media Days. And, I fly out Sunday. It's time to have some fun down there, talk to some coaches, some players, some media personalities. Yeah. And, brother, it just always seems like when we do this, fall football is here in no time.
Oh, yeah. No, it's right around the corner, Shane. And, again, I'm not going to put it's not our place to say, this coach is going to come on, this coach isn't, this team, that, and the other. Because I don't want to put anyone in a bad position. If we get one player, if we get one coach, that's probably more than we deserve at Media Days, right? But I've been sending out all these requests to all these people, and it's looking good, Shane. I'll just say it's looking good. It's looking good. We're going to get some players. We're going to get some coaches. So I cannot wait. This is going to be the best Media Days ever. I sent you a little video, Shane, of my first Media Days. It was 2017. It was in a damn strip mall down there in Hoover, Alabama. And literally no one knew who the hell I was and why I was down there and if I had any business being down there. And that's still the case, Shane. That's still the case. But it's just wild to think that, we may get some SEC coaches and players and tons of media people to come over and hang out with us for a little bit.
Oh, man. And there was some damn girth back then on coaching staff. That was Bielema and who else was that? Coach O was
Coach
there.
O was there. Yep.
Yeah. They had some big old boys coming through. So, yeah. No, it is funny kind of how far it's come. And now you're talking about quarterback rankings, and people are actually talking about that going into SEC Media Days. I'll never forget Spencer kind of calling your ass out, last year because of it. So, yeah, a little bit. I'm not as big a fan as most of these players and fans are, but you know what? It's tis the season, brother.
It is, Shane, and man, we got a great show lined up. Sorry, I just realized I forgot to upload one of these images, but man, I don't know where to begin, Shane, but I do have a bit of trivia. We never done trivia before.
Oh, God.
So don't give this away, Shane, because Shane, I've already revealed it to him. But this was given to me, and we're going to reveal it at the end of the show. So I'm going to throw it up here. This is apparently a real play from an SEC play caller currently in the SEC. So I'm going to throw it up here. And anybody just, listening back, again, I did not make this up. I'm not that clever. I'm not that sneaky. But apparently this play is called Titties LT4 Stutter. And this is a real play from one of the SEC coaches. So by all means, have fun in the comments. I'm going to reveal at the end whose play this is. And I will say where Shane guessed it. Shane was way wrong. I don't even know where in the hell he got this, but Shane guessed Mike Bobo. It ain't Mike Bobo. I'll just tell you guys that. But, buddy, it's going to be funny when I reveal that one.
Yeah, and the call, I think the best part is the call was saggy titties was the actual call for it. So, so we kind of leaked. I don't know if that's going to be on the new college football game, but it should be, Mike.
All right, so, hey, again, we got some fun stuff to talk about, Shane, but real quick, they got, like you said, they just announced it, SEC Media Days. They announced all the players that are going to be there. So let's run through that real quick, each individual team, and then kind of give our thoughts. I'm just going in alphabetical because that's the list they sent out. But Alabama, it's going to be a fun one, Shane. Jalen Milroe, outstanding quarterback, of course.
Yeah.
Tyler Booker, team captain, offensive lineman, and Malachi Moore, who's been down there 5-6 seasons down there at Alabama. Pretty star-studded lineup here for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, and everybody's going to want to talk to these boys. You know what I'm saying? and especially Jalen. One of the things I liked about him is just kind of how he came out of his comfort zone last year. You know, I just did a Cousin Shane countdown and got to show him at that Texas A&M football game. And, you know, it's just kind of funny how he just transitioned from that game on and became a Heisman frontrunner at one point. So, yeah, it'd be exciting to see him down there for sure.
Now, how about Arkansas, Shane? I love this trio here. The Hitman's back for another year. Landon Jackson, he was there last year. Shane was like, my God. He was on the all monster team down there. Taylon Green, how about that, Shane? It's not often you get a transfer quarterback here at Media Days, but I think that gives you a very good indication of the confidence Arkansas has in their hopefully star quarterback. And then Andrew Armstrong, senior receiver. So I like his trio for the Hogs, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, I was in an elevator with the Hitman. He probably doesn't remember. I don't know. You know, I kind of stand out around people. But he did too, man. It was like a damn monster just got on that elevator with me. And I was like, who the, because at the time I couldn't tell who he was. I was like, who the hell is this cat? You know, the Hitman is what I dubbed him. And he is an absolute beast and just a freak if you're sitting next to him or standing next to him.
Yeah, no doubt.
You feel like I'm 40 years old, and I felt like a 13-year-old looking up. Like, I want to be him when I grow up, you know?
All right, how about this trio for Auburn? Shane Peyton Thorne, quarterback. Might have to avoid him. Eugene Asante, outstanding linebacker, and Kedrick Falk, defensive end for them Auburn Tigers. There's our trio right there.
What day are they? What day is Auburn?
Man, I should have been a little bit more prepared. I don't have that info in front of me, but
may want to wear neutral colors that day, Mike. You don't want to stand out. You know what I'm saying?
But hey, again, same thing we just said about Taylon Green. I think you have to spin it the same way to Peyton Thorne, just the confidence Hugh Freeze and company have, and this could be this year's Graham Mertz, where again, it's not everybody, but it's you know, me and many others saying Peyton Thorne, not that good of a quarterback, but he's going to be here at media. They don't bring bad players to media days.
No, they bring captains. They bring team leaders. You know, this is who everybody on that roster typically want to be there to represent their university. So, yeah, I guarantee he's got a bulletin board of a lot of people, a lot of naysayers like us that maybe have put him down. But, you know, again, be out here, be in front of it, and be the captain of this team. And maybe we look back in July and we say, what the hell were we thinking having Peyton so damn low?
Yeah, especially you, Shane. All right, how about Florida? The guy we just talked about, Graham Mertz, senior captain here, you know, breakout star here perhaps. Shamar James, outstanding linebacker for the Florida Gators. And Montrell Johnson got a little, we'll talk Montrell Johnson here in a bit, but again, I think this is a star-studded class for the Florida Gators. And if you're talking three players that could really be three of the best at their positions in the SEC, I think Florida's got three of them.
Brother, I tell you what, that Johnson kid, that, you know, I mean, he had to share the spotlight last year with Etienne, and now he's got the whole thing to himself, brother. I mean, watch out. That may be, I don't know what the record is down there for Florida. I imagine there's a lot of rushing yards, but this is a guy that can do it.
Right. How about the Georgia Bulldogs, Shane? Thank God. I mean, for us, they should have brought Trevor Etienne, but he ain't coming. That would have made good. But Carson Beck, of course, senior quarterback. Wonder if he'll bring his girlfriend. Michael Williams, defensive lineman, outstanding player. And Malachi Starks, safety, maybe the best safety in the country.
Oh, buddy, I'm telling you, this is one you just know when Georgia shows up. You know what I'm saying? Like Alabama, Georgia, they just got that aura around them, and everybody just kind of gets quiet because they turn around and there's Carson Beck. You know, so yeah, this is going to be every one of these guys, man. You know what I'm saying? These are first rounders. These are elite kids that are going to be in the NFL for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah. Now, how about Kentucky, Shane? This is an underrated trio right here. Marquise Cox, left tackle.
Yeah.
Derrick Jackson, outstanding linebacker. And personally, my favorite defensive lineman, very underrated, Deion Walker on the interior of the defensive line for Kentucky. Two defensive studs and an offensive lineman. That is Kentucky football right there. You know what?
It's getting back to it, man. Get them big boys some love. You talk about as far as the top three biggest personalities, brother, they're going to be coming in there. And you just mentioned it, maybe one of the best defensive linemen in this class coming up. So these guys are going to have I'm just curious about Kentucky, just kind of what their motto is, you know, is us against everybody kind of mentality. And you bring in the biggest, baddest boys on that roster, that's going to be a fun group.
Right. All right. How about LSU, Shane Garrett Nussmeier? Again, I like seeing that. He's starting quarterback, team captain here, but first year as a starter. Mason Taylor, you know who his daddy is, don't you? We'll have to ask him that. And then Harold Perkins, outstanding linebacker. So you want to talk star power? LSU's as good as anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is probably the biggest names most people know of, outside of their respectable teams. So, yeah, this will be a fun group for sure.
All right, how about Ole Miss, Shane Jackson Dart, my number 2 quarterback here, Trey Harris. He may be, I was about to go too far, Shane. He may be the second best receiver in the SEC. I got to give it to my man Luther. And then Jared Ivey, defensive end. That's an outstanding trio for Ole Miss, too.
Oh, man, I just hope these guys aren't too good enough to come down here and talk to Cousin Shane and Mike. They're at that SEC podcast,
Hey, real quick, Shane, Cousin Jed, he just threw us a $5 donation.
Thank you, cuz.
Hog fan here, looking at the schedule through an unbiased lens, can't see more than 4 wins. Love the show. Hey, since he threw us a donation, let's change the topic just real quick, Shane. I'm gonna bring up our schedule. 4 wins. Come on.
Come on now.
Come on.
September?
Yeah. We do appreciate you, Jed, but I mean, I see why he may say that. End of last season was such a dud, but I mean, Arkansas Pine Bluff, UAB, Louisiana Tech, that's slam dunk 3.
Yeah.
Now again, he has a point here. There's a lot of tough games, but Mississippi State on the road, I could see him winning.
Yeah.
Hell, you just never know what you're getting out of Oklahoma State, even though it is on the road. They lost to South Alabama last year, Shane. Right. I don't think South Alabama won 7 games last year. They get Tennessee at home. They get LSU at home. They get Ole Miss at home. They get Texas at home. These are very difficult games, but they're all at home. We haven't even talked about at Auburn, who I don't think is as good as some people do. Who knows, Shane? Your beloved Mizzou, if the wheels start to fall off, maybe by the end of the year, they ain't what we thought they were. And A&M, you just don't know what you're getting out of Mike Elko. So give me guaranteed 5 wins. I think the question is, do they make a bowl game or not?
I think they can, man. That Oklahoma State game, that's the one that I've got penciled in as what makes or breaks the season. And just because I believe momentum can be lost. There's a real shot here, though, that Arkansas starts out 4-0. A&M may be even a football game at this point, quote unquote neutral site. So that's what I'm looking at. September 7th, I think that's one of the most important games of the year for the SEC teams. Because you're right, Mississippi State you can win. You obviously La Tech you're going to beat, and if Green, we've got a kid that we're going to talk to here in a few days, and if he is the real deal, if we get Spring Green, brother, there's a few of these teams that A&M I'm not penciling as a loss automatically. Tennessee I'm not penciling as a loss because that is a guy that can transform a football team overnight. Especially with his legs and his capability to keep those chains moving. So yeah, I'm very. I don't want to say optimistic, and it's hard not to be here in July. Optimistic about every football team, but more than 4, definitely.
Yeah, Shane. Again, let's be honest with the listeners here, and I think this is 100% true because we do this so much. We get on here and we talk so much SEC football, and we do it year round. Sometimes we forget what we say. I can't imagine you remember what we talked about in February and March and all this. But I saw the other day someone put together like a Taylor Green hype video. Yeah. And it was just me talking how excited I was watching it for the spring game. And I was like, I can't even remember that. But then I went back and watched it. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it all checked out. But, yeah, to your point, I mean, Taylor Green, he could be the breakout star of the SEC this year.
It exploded online. I mean, you got to realize that there are a lot of Arkansas fans that are kind of down in the dumps. They're really questioning if Sam's going to be the guy. What's this Bobby Petrino situation going to look like at the end of the season? Yeah, I get that. There is, but all that goes away. You start out 4-0. All that goes right out the door if you actually exceed expectations, which I've seen Arkansas do under Sam Pittman before. So,
and maybe that's what you need, Shane. Maybe you don't need all these praise idiots like me saying you got the best quarterback, you're going to kick everybody's ass. Maybe it's easier when everybody's not even paying. They're just chalking you up as an automatic easy win. Arkansas can't beat nobody. A coach is going to get fired. Bobby Petrino's already our next head coach. That.
And then all of a sudden,
if I'm in that locker room, that's motivated me to whoop some ass.
Absolutely. And then you're going to see it on the recruiting trail, which we kind of already seeing little bits and pieces of it with Arkansas.
Right.
You start laying in some of those bigger guys, those bigger names. Then all of a sudden the buzz starts floating around Arkansas again.
Right. Hey, shout out Cousin Rick, one of our favorite A&M fans.
Hey,
$50. Oh.
We're going to drink good now.
Cousin Rick said, ready for media day. So, yeah, I can't wait. I hope we get some A&M guys. I hope we get Mike Elko.
Yeah.
No question here from Cousin Rick, but let's throw up A&M schedule real quick just for such a generous donation there. But, Shane, A&M, 8.5 here. Which game, if you had to pick one game, Shane, that we're saying A&M, we're guaranteeing they go over. So 9-3 minimum.
Yeah.
What's the one game on A&M's schedule that they must win to get to 9-3? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking like a swing game.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of looking at here. That is a great question, Mike, and I think it's going to come down to, brother, man, I hate putting so much pressure on week one, but there's got to be, because
Right.
I think A&M talent-wise is much more, I don't know if that's even words, is much more talented than Notre Dame. But the problem is you see it sometimes when you get these new coaches, these new players, new coordinators, you fumble, there's just mistakes. It's dirty, it's sloppy. And next thing you know, Notre Dame's just kind of hanging in there. I think of the LSU Florida State game last year. It's like you knew LSU was a better team. And I guarantee if LSU would have played Florida State that final week, we'd be singing a different tune. I think it's very important for A&M to hit the ground running and win that Notre Dame game.
Yeah, that's a great one, Shane, but I'll do one different.
Okay.
Because there's a couple to pick from here. But I really think week 3, Florida. I think if you can get some momentum on the road, one of the toughest environments in all of college football, a team that you match up fairly well with, if you can get that one, I think you can beat some of these teams on your schedule at home, like a Missouri, like an LSU, like a Texas, that many have as a loss today. But maybe we'll have some momentum. I think it's got to start early, if that makes sense. Because I don't think we're going to start 2-2 and be like, all right, we're going to start whooping everybody's ass. You know what I mean? Like, I think we got to get the ball rolling early.
Yeah, no, that's September, like you said. You've got Florida, I've got Notre Dame. That's the first 3 games, Mike. That's to get that over, which I think A&M can hit. A fantastic show, by the way, yesterday. Appreciate Ford coming on. But, it kind of got me hopped up again for those Aggies. I'm not getting sucked in, Aggies. Don't worry. You're still not going to hit 9. But I'm just saying, to hit 9, you got to hit the ground running.
Right. Oh, Shin, these donations keep coming in. So we got another one here from
thank you, Cuz.
Your favorite fan base here. Cousin Chase. What would it take for you guys to get to Columbia this year? Let's hook it up. Love the show. Shout out to Cousin Shane for being in the Twitter group chat. M-I-Z.
That's right.
Oh, Shane has opened Pandora's box. You get a bit of group chat here, but let's throw up our schedule, Shane. If there's one, I think we've talked about it. So, but in case anybody has missed it, there's one game where he's circled. He's challenged the damn coach to invite him to the game. But
that's it. I just want Drink to say, Shane, come on out. You don't even have to tell us you're going to whoop Oklahoma's ass. But I just want him to say, be there November 9th, and by God, I will be there. I'll be beating that damn drum on the sideline if they'll have me.
Man, yeah. So maybe that's it. If they are as good as we think, if Oklahoma is as good as I think, and maybe exceed expectations, that may be the game of the year in the SEC. No one's damn talking about. So we may have to be in Columbia November 9th. You know what?
Oh my God, that one's going to be it. And I mean, because I am in these groups now. I find out Kansas City's playing the next day. They're like, "Hey, while you're there, make a weekend of it. Come tailgate with us." So I'm like, "Yeah, man." So I think it would be. I think that's the one that I've got on my list of games I would really love to attend, just because of how much I think we'll be laying on the shit. I can't even talk right now, Mike. I'm so pumped up just thinking about it, brother. But I think when it comes down to it, that game may be pivotal. It may be the reason that Mizzou gets or doesn't get into a college football playoff. I mean, you could make the same argument with Oklahoma. I think that game has a lot riding on it. Not just the shit talk that we've been doing this whole off season, but I just think moving forward, it's just going to galvanize a rival. That's what it's going to become again, is a rivalry.
Right, and Gray God says it best. I mean, this is how Oklahoma fans feel about this. November 9th, Mizzou returns to poverty. That's why this game is so great to me, because Oklahoma doesn't even respect Missouri.
No.
Missouri thinks they're going to whoop at Oklahoma's ass and give them a good welcome into the SEC, and somebody's going to be right, and somebody's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I love both these fan bases, Shane. So I just want to be there to witness it. You know what?
Absolutely. I want to be there with you, brother.
All right, moving back to media days real quick, Shane. Mississippi State. No clue who they were going to invite because it's such a reworked roster, but they're bringing quarterback Blake Shapen, offensive lineman Albert Reese, and linebacker John Lewis. So this is going to be, again, a trio that we're going to have to learn a lot about come SEC media days, because a lot of new faces in Starkville. You know what?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's going to be one of the more intriguing groups, because obviously they've identified some team leaders with these three, and just to kind of, what is it like now? Because when you have kind of a turnover there with the coach, it's easy to kind of lose some of these older players, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's that locker room saying.
Right. Now, Mizzou. You're a Missouri Tiger, Shay, no doubt. This is going to be a great trio right here. Luther Burden, I think he's the best player in college football. Brady Cook, I think he's going to be the best quarterback in the SEC this year. And Christian Williams, defensive lineman, senior, and junior, of course, Luther Burden. But, my God.
Can you get autographs? Or am I getting kicked out if
no,
I get one?
They'll throw us out on that one.
It'd be hard not to with Luther up there, and Brady too. But Luther's got. I mean, clearly he's the dude. He is the best receiver in the country. And I hear the arguments with some of these other teams like Ole Miss and stuff. But the fact that you even considered that possibly you're wrong is just shows you how good Luther is.
Right. And then, Shay, this is the only one. He shot me back immediately. He's like, whoa, this is surprising right here. Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold sending sophomore quarterback.
Yeah.
That's unusual. Danny Stutzman, probably a preseason All-American linebacker, and Billy Bowman, defensive back. So some star power and a young quarterback. It's going to be interesting, Shane, because we don't see a lot of young quarterbacks at this event. And I'll be honest with you, the last one I saw, not that it really matters or anything, but what was Matt Corral at Ole Miss. I think it was like his sophomore season, and he just seemed nervous, and that was before Kiffin got there. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that will give us a little bit. Again, what happens at media day has got nothing to do with the field, but it's good to get a sense of these guys and see, hell, if they're nervous in this scene. Yeah. I was thinking, oh, man, Matt Corral may be in trouble. And he was until Lane Kiffin got there. Then he was a star.
Well, it's funny, because you go back, you talked about old media days, 2017, that's when you're sending fifth-year left tackle so-and-so or, defensive tackle senior year of this guy or whatever. You're picking some of the older ones, but what you're forgetting, too, is a lot of these younger kids that we're now talking about, they've been in the spotlight for a long time. They've been doing interviews at camps. They have been acclimated, and they know what they can say, what they can't. And Arnold, I guarantee, but it does surprise me, because even these days you rarely see, a sophomore quarterback. And so I'm pumped up to see what his message is. Right.
Hey, how about shout out cousin Andrew Shea just gave us $5 donation. He says, the SEC chance when Mizzou's up 2 scores on Oklahoma is going to hit like cracked. So, I mean, this is just a portion of what's in the comments right now, Shane. These Oklahoma, these Missouri fans are at each other's throats.
What would they say? We want Texas? That'd be another one? You know, that would get like under their skin.
Oh man, that's awesome. But yeah, that would be great. All right, how about South Carolina, Shane? Defensive lineman Alex Hutley's going to be there. Luke Doty, one of my favorite players, because hey, in today's modern era, Shane, especially if you're coming as a quarterback and if things don't go break your way immediately, you're out the door. I'm going somewhere else. He's stayed through and through, position change after position change after position change. So I'm a big fan of Luke Doty. And Debo Williams, underrated linebacker. I like his senior trio for South Carolina.
Yeah. Bring some of them old kids up there. That's just what we talked about right here. You know, they're going to say the right things at the mic. They're not going to say anything stupid at Shane's booth, you know. So this is a group that you want to see. But then again, there's going to be a lot of questions about the youth of this team. So I can't wait to talk to some of these older guys and see how some of these younger kids are getting acclimated in the system.
Right. And Cousin Rick's, he's got another question here. Are fans involved in media days? Love the show. Unfortunately,
hey, thank you, cuz.
Not really. They're not. I think the SEC does a poor job, honestly. I mean, they do so many things right. And it's just not designed for fans. A lot of people have asked about this. Now, you can show up. You can get photos with the players and coach, and you can get autographs if you're a fan in the lobby area. At least that's how they do it in some of these events. We've never done it in Dallas, so I don't particularly know how they're going to do it. But it's just not designed for fans. And somehow, some way, I wish we could incorporate the fans a little bit more in this event.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that we see a little bit more of in the future. You know, I kind of enjoyed the basketball tournament and how much effort they put in downtown Nashville. You know, I feel like they are kind of missing something here. Fans are hungry. This isn't just our kickoff, Mike. This is everybody's kickoff to college football season. So any chance to even meet the players don't have to be there because they kind of rush them in and out. They're on top of it. Next thing you know, they're on a plane somewhere. But look for us. We're going to be out. You know, in the evenings that week. I know Mike put out a list of places to eat, buddy. I tell you what, I'm looking at all these, and then I'm Googling them, and I know that Terry Black's, is that the one?
Oh, yeah. We'll be there.
Yeah.
We may have to go twice.
Yeah. That's right. So we'll be sure to keep you informed if you are down there, and maybe we can run into each other while we're in Texas.
Now, I do they were planning to do a fan day, Shane, in 2020 before COVID hit. They were going to do, it was Nashville. They were going to close Broadway, and they were going to do all SEC fans thing there, but obviously that didn't happen. So, again, I think the SEC is trying to do stuff, but I don't know. Hopefully in the years to come that it'll happen. Yeah,
it'll happen. I think this year going to Texas, that was that was orchestrated because everybody knows that Texas and Oklahoma are joining. But I do think that it'll be a little bit more centrally located. Probably Atlanta, Nashville, kind of back and forth there, so more fans can come in. It's just tough for, Kentucky fans, diehards. Now, I know they'll drive down there for media days or an opportunity to see one of the coaches or something like that. But I do think that at some point they'll finally embrace that.
How about Cousin Grady, Shane? He says, Cousin Shane's been seeing Terry Blacks on TikTok.
Man, I've been watching her cook ribs since I was... your size. Hey, I'm looking forward to because I've always heard that. I've never been to Texas. I've been to a couple of airports down there, but I've never visited Texas. And everybody my whole life, has always said the best barbecues in Texas. Well,
yep.
Well, by God, I'm about to find out, Mike. I'll get one of them big old beef ribs, All
right, here's the trio for Tennessee, Shane. Again, all seniors. Cooper Mays, Keenan Peely, and Amari Thomas. Tennessee is one of these that they send the guys down there for business. You know what I mean? Don't make headlines. Like Josh Heupel. You know what?
Yeah, this ain't the three I would have picked, but no, I'm just kidding. I like these guys, but everybody obviously, you'd love to see Nico there. I know he's young, but still, he's leading this team, and there are some new faces, but. I do like these guys. I think I've listened to them talk before, and they do got bright personalities, so they'll be fun.
Shade, he's upset with that trio, it sounds like. All right, how about Texas, Shade? Quinn Ewers, quarterback, Kelvin Banks, maybe the best offensive tackle in all of football, and Jahdae Barron, defensive back. So, again, we're going to be getting to know these guys, but
No
possibly
Arch Manning?
no.
What the hell?
Wouldn't that be something if they said Arch down there? But, possibly 2 to 3 first-round picks here from Texas roster.
Oh yeah, no. This is what people are going to be wanting to talk about. It's Texas and Oklahoma, so it's going to just be great seeing who comes with them. The entourage, the Texas entourage. I've heard bits and pieces when we've talked to a lot of media personalities, but you kind of want to see it firsthand. I mean, you got to see Oklahoma, so I'm a little jealous of that one. But seeing both of these guys down there, it's going to be awesome.
Right, and then A&M, Shane, Shamar Turner, outstanding defensive lineman. Terrion York, sophomore, but team captain. It's pretty rare for a sophomore to be team captain. And Trey Zune, offensive lineman. So it's an interesting mix here. It's a new era under Mike Elko. I'll be fascinated to see the messaging from the Aggies down here.
Yeah, just if it's uniform, like you see some of these new coaches come in and they all kind of sound the same and scripted. I want to see if there's any personality on this group.
And I wonder, Shane, again, some people, different methodologies for different teams, but I wonder how many of these Aggies are going to come in here and say, hey, we're still here. This ain't about Texas. This ain't about Oklahoma. This is about us. They're coming to our league. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there'll be any attitude there, if that makes sense.
I think there will be. I mean, you see it already with Oklahoma. Everybody's on the Texas wagon, but then Oklahoma's quick to remind you of the series record. It's like,
right.
Come on now, know all the facts. Don't just study last year, even though we beat them. So A&M is going to be the same way, brother.
And then last but not least, Vanderbilt, Shane, Gunnar Hansen, offensive lineman, Langston Patterson, linebacker, and C.J. Taylor, safety. I think this is an indication Clark Lee's taking over the defense. We're sending 2 defensive captains here. It's a new era on the West End here, and, hopefully a lot better days for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm sorry.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get. I probably shouldn't shit on Vanderbilt so bad, and I hate it. I hate it for Coach Lee in this situation. If I hate seeing the transfer portal, kind of rip the heart out of a football team. But that's okay if you left behind kids that are playing together. And I guess when you kind of see that when you're talking to some of these older players and they come out and say, hey man, I had an opportunity to leave, but I didn't, So I'm pumped up to see what their message is for sure.
Right. All right, Shane. Hey, real quick, we haven't done one of these in a while. I wanted to surprise you with it, but we got a really good voicemail too.
Oh, nice.
From Cousin Pate down there. He's Ole Miss, but he's got a Tennessee theme here for Cousin Shane. Let's kick it over to Cousin Pate here.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? This is Cousin Pate calling in. I just wanted y'all to know that anytime that you want to make a trip down to Oxford, Mississippi, it doesn't have to be when the Vols eventually come to Oxford and get their ass whipped. It can be any time throughout the season, 2024, 2025, at any sporting event. But you've got a place at my tent, plenty of beers, plenty of barbecue, plenty of whatever we got going on down in Oxford at that time. I just wanted to let you know I love what y'all are doing. And Cousin Shane, Knoxville still sucks. Hope to see y'all in Oxford soon. Howdy, toddy.
I got a mustard bottle for you, buddy.
What a great voicemail that was.
Oh, I love it, man. That's what it's about, brother. The pure passion, because when we went to that Ole Miss game, man, as heartbreaking as that was, could you imagine being an Ole Miss fan leaving that thing? Like so freaking close. I can't believe how that thing ended,
Right.
How many games do you watch like that? It just rips your heart out. So I'm pumped up. I'd love to go down there. You got their schedule. Which game would you like if you were circling a game on Ole Miss at Ole Miss that you wanted to go watch? I'd like for you to kind of get yours and then I'll tell you mine.
Well, there's really only two to pick from, I feel like.
Yeah, now that I look at it, this should be an easy list.
If Mississippi State was better, I'm dying to go to an Egg Bowl, maybe in a couple years here. But for me, it's probably Georgia.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, get your popcorn. This team was built for November 9th. You know what I'm saying? When Lane Kiffin left Athens last year, he basically said, this is what I need. He then went out and got it. And now, you know, when you have this football game with the Georgia Bulldogs, there's no more excuses. You can't say, well, this team's better than, no. Your team is just as good. And, yeah, that was probably going to be the one that I would pick as well.
Yeah. And how about this? Not a call, Shane, but shout out cousin Mark DeBerry. He's a big A&M fan.
Yeah.
And he found a way. He sent me his email. I'm going to throw up his little spreadsheet graphic thing he made here. He has found a way, Shane. I hope everybody could see this clearly here. Probably not, because I didn't format this correctly. My bad. But he has found a way, Shane, for 8 teams in the SEC to go 10-2 this year. So let me run through this real quick. 8 teams. Again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I just thought this was pretty fascinating. And only one of them with one team suffering a non-conference loss. So it's basically everybody beating everybody.
Yeah.
Georgia losing to Texas on the road and at Ole Miss. I mean, that's I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's realistic.
Yeah.
Texas losing at Michigan. Again, not super realistic, but it certainly could. And then Oklahoma beat them last year.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama losing to Georgia.
Yeah.
And losing at Tennessee, I would buy that. Ole Miss losing at LSU and losing to Oklahoma at home.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee
losing at Oklahoma and at Georgia. Mizzou losing at Alabama. Oh, there you go, like this. And losing to Oklahoma. Oklahoma losing to LSU, last game of the year at LSU, and Alabama at home. Texas A&M losing to Mizzou and Texas, and then LSU losing to Texas A&M and Alabama. And that's how we get to 8.
9.
Is that 9? Yeah, excuse me. 9, 10-2 SEC team. I mean, that could again, this ain't going to happen, but I could see every one of those games I just played out. I could see every single one of them going that way.
Yeah, but that is awesome. I mean, who took, I have an idea and just breaks out Excel and says, hey, I'm going to whip up a formula here. No, that would be, there's going to come a time. Now, the college football playoffs, you're excited that they're expanding. They're going to expand again, So I think
what would they do, Shane, with 9, 10-2 SEC? They all go in. They all go in.
They should, but they won't. They're going to leave off probably my Vols, something that's just gonna hurt my soul. But it is intriguing, but I do think that the funny part is it may be this year, Mike. There's going to be some 10-2s that are on the bubble, and we're going to have to put them in. Like, you remember how much controversy there was last year? An undefeated Florida State did not get in. Right. So a 2-loss SEC team most likely will get in. It's just going to be funny to see who it's over,
Hey, shout out cousin Nick. He says, nobody, $20 donation. Nobody gives a damn about Snotty Tatty. I like that.
Thank you, cuz. It's funny, too. It's like Oklahoma and Texas, they're used to getting left out. Now there's a little prestige. You probably didn't think about this, or maybe it hasn't dawned on you, but you still can lose 2 games. You lost 2 games in the Big 12, you're out. You lose one, you're probably going to not make it. Not anymore, buddy. You got the prestige of the SEC behind you. Welcome. The Privilege League.
And then one more. Appreciate you, cousin Jefferson.
Thank you, cuz.
Gave us a little donation here, so I appreciate you. I mean, again, that was tremendous. So shout out cousin Mark DeBerry for providing that analysis for us. We got one more from
I thought that was my brother there for a second. It sounded like him. Oh, thank you, cuz.
Cousin Sven, win anything Ole Miss and then come back and talk, you nerds. Hail State. What a great point for a Whiffin Kiffin and company. You know what?
I think he just sent us 35 cents. I don't know what that fancy symbol is, but
Hey, here's one other. I saw someone talking about this online. I think it may have been like Cover 3 podcast or something like that.
yeah,
I'm just throwing this out there, Shane. Let's make an enemy real quick here.
another one.
There's always a team that disappoints,
Yeah,
and I'm talking big time here. A surprise SEC team to not make a bowl game. Not even make, so go 5-7. You have to pick one here. I'm gonna run down the list. We're so loaded in the SEC. I mean, basically the entire SEC is expected, but some of these, like Florida, I know you're high on Kentucky. Again, if they don't make it,
yeah,
I don't think people will be stunned, right?
right.
So I'm just saying these are the teams. You got to pick one. Georgia, Ole Miss, Mizzou, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, or LSU. You got to pick one. Most likely to miss. Even likely is the wrong word, but the one that the rails could come off, even just for a season.
Yeah, and I think this isn't a tough question at all, Mike. It's Texas. Texas A&M.
Oh, no!
Oh, yeah,
I thought you were going to do a heel turn there for a second.
No, it's them Aggies. It's the Aggies. And again, part of the reason is we're talking about a bowl game, so you got to hit 6. Can you do that? Absolutely. But how many times have I said that about the Aggies?
Yeah.
You know, even last year. I mean, it was a total embarrassment, a total meltdown. But hey, we got a new coach. We got this, we got that. Yeah, you do, but you also got a roster that got a little gutted there toward the end with the transfers, and there's a lot of nice pieces that you got into the transfer portal. But again, it's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknown. So if it doesn't fall together, then you know, not everybody can do like Ole Miss and just hit the portal and take 45 people and make it work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, sometimes it can backfire on you. And if that does not work, if A&M hits it rough at the beginning, what does that locker room look like? What if Connor gets hurt again? You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. And I am not saying that A&M does not make a bowl game. I'm just saying,
We're saying like worst case.
yeah.
I mean, again, their over-under's 8.5. It should be a given that they're going to make a bowl game.
Yeah.
So, again, things happen, right? So that makes sense. But any idea who I'm going to go with? And again, one more time, these are the teams we're talking. Georgia, Ole Miss, Mizzou, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, and LSU. And the only reason I'm highlighting these, because these are the ones I'm like most confident will make a bowl game.
Oklahoma?
No. LSU, come on there. They're a popular one in the comments, and I'm right there with them. I mean, again, the schedule leads to them being having an outstanding year. But I don't know, Shane. I'm a little nervous here. I'm a little nervous that we've kind of wasted Jaden Daniels. We wasted some elite receivers. I don't know how much better we're going to be on defense. We ain't paying players to come down. I mean, that's usually. Again, it's way too early to say the beginning of the end for Brian Kelly, but those are the comments that can really come back. You go 5-7, and then people say, wait a second, this is the idiot that said we ain't buying players down here. Well, guess what? All these teams that are kicking our ass, they're buying players like Ole Miss and A&M and Bama and Oklahoma and on and on and on. Again, and this is very unlikely.
Right.
But if they lose to Southern Cal, buddy, and if they lose, this is the scenario how that happens, Shane. They lose to Southern Cal.
Yeah.
They lose to South Carolina week 3, and we got big problems here. Because if we're losing to those, I don't think we're beating Ole Miss. I don't care. That's a home game. I don't think we're beating Bama. I've already said I think Florida snaps the streak. So right there, I'm already up to 5.
Yeah.
A&M and Oklahoma, probably the other 2. So it's this is a lot of things would have to go wrong for this to happen. But this is my answer here.
Well, Mike, I just, here it is. Optimism at an all-time high. and you're telling me that LSU, you made me pick a team to not make a bowl game, and then you doubled down with a team that's projected 9 wins to not make a bowl game. No, I don't know why you hate Garrett Nussmeier that much, but it ain't happening. They're not coming by our booth. Is that it?
I was about to say, we just got the email from Coach Kelly. He says, I ain't coming now.
Yeah. That would be horrible. And well, can we flip it? Can we spin this to a positive? Is there a team that you see that maybe projected less than 6 that does make a bowl game? Is there?
Well, I've already talked up Florida to no end.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go there because I think that's too easy.
So Mississippi State, Arkansas, South Carolina.
I already got one, Shane. It's going to be them Arkansas Razorbacks. Come on, brother. I think if Taylon Green hits, Bobby Petrino redeems himself, the defense shows itself like they did early last season. This is the team that I like. I love all these home games. They're in the weeds, so to speak. No one's respecting Arkansas. This is an automatic W here. Give me Razorbacks to win 6-7 ball games here.
Ooh, I like that. Pull up South Carolina's schedule. Yeah, let's go with Arkansas. Oh my God, South Carolina really thinks I hate them, don't they? They got a tough schedule.
It's all about 2000. What is it? 22.
22.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Even today, they're clinging to that.
You shouldn't have hurt Hendon Hooker. You know.
Hey, appreciate you, cousin Stringer.
Thank you, cuz.
Lebby will be known as the playoff dream crusher. So, hey, I like that too. I mean, I certainly hope so.
Well, I've told you several times. I do think that Mississippi State is going to have a couple of those games that just they pop up and then they're competitive. And I think that's why State fans are going to be so pumped up about the future, because once Lebby gets that talent that he needs to make that system work, brother, it's, as a Tennessee homer that watches this style of offense, I mean, there's a reason that we are so excited about this year, because we've got those pieces finally. So I do think Mississippi State does surprise a couple of programs.
Hey, we got another one here, Shane, from cousin Matt.
Hey, thanks, cuz.
Appreciate you, Matt. What's the over-under on games before Arch Manning takes over for the most overrated quarterback in college football, Quinn Ewers? And that's Matt talking. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm just reading what he's saying here. But let's throw up Texas schedule, Shane. How soon before Arch Manning takes over here? And oh, buddy, I see a good one here. Where would you go if this does happen? And again, we're not predicting it, but he's asking, so I'm going to answer it.
October 26th.
Bingo.
Yeah. I believe, one of the things about it, and I'm not wishing this, and I probably shouldn't even say it, but the defenses that he will face in that 2-week stretch are physical, brother. Oklahoma, we know how big and bad they are. We know what Georgia brings every single year. They will be aggressive. It will be back-to-back, and we've seen some injuries kind of pop up on years before. So if you have something that's kind of lingering around, or maybe you drop – I'm not saying this happens, but if you drop those games back-to-back, don't be surprised if they say, hey, let's go ahead and have that surgery we were thinking about having. If Arch comes out and has that productive game. But I don't want to talk that way, because, again, if we're getting down that pessimistic road, and I'm already forecasting possible injuries, but if you are going to see him, it would definitely be Vanderbilt, October 26th.
Right, and then 2 weeks to prepare for Florida. I mean, it's a dream setup, for Arch to take over in that scenario. You know what?
Not going to need him, though. But on the flip side, though, if you bring that schedule back up, let's say Texas goes on a tear, because one thing we do like is this schedule. And after that Oklahoma, Georgia, I still think Vanderbilt, possibly Arkansas, maybe Kentucky, Florida. There may be some games that you get to see a little bit of Manning, because possibly you don't need first team anymore.
Ooh, yeah.
And then what?
What a damn spin from you there, Shade.
Yeah.
Hey, now I wanted to close out on this because this was fantastic, Shane. I got to shout out you for all the hard work you've been doing behind the scenes. But you threw out, man, I wish I had I don't have the actual tweet posted here, but which quarterback has a better season? I thought this was fantastic. Brock Vandagriff, Kentucky, or LaNorris Sellers, South Carolina. I already know where you're going, and I already know where I'm going, but it's safe to say I think you're leaning Brock Bowers. Or Brock Vandagriff.
Brock Vandagriff, yeah. That's the way I went. And again, I told you a little bit when we did the QB rankings. I don't know if you've got to see that show on YouTube, but it's fantastic. It's Mike's list. It's not Cousin Shane's list, so be sure to critique the hell out of it. But I'm a little bit higher on Brock, because I just think for the system situation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you put Sellers in Kentucky and you put Brock down in South Carolina, I'd be flipping this. I'd say I like Sellers. I just like the support staff that is around Brock. He's not going to have to do it all, but by God, he's going to have to do it all in South Carolina. Can he? Absolutely. But he's also going to make some mistakes because he is a young quarterback. So I just like at the end, season end, we're going to think Brock did a better job.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point by you, Shane. Another excellent one, of course. But, yeah, so, I mean, there's certainly reasons to like Brock Vandagriff. I think the reason I like Sellers is because he's in the – I know he wasn't the starter, but same system, same team, not a transfer, not a first year, not only for Brock Vandagriff, but the entire Kentucky offense, new offensive coordinator. So I'm a little slightly concerned that that'll slow him down a little bit. But, I mean, you can make the case one way or another, and I don't think there is a wrong answer. That's why I love this one from you. But I will give a slight edge to LaNorris Sellers, but I'm not very confident in it because I could certainly see Brock Vandagriff coming in here to Kentucky, like you said, with these great receivers, with an established offensive line, and a history of Kentucky being able to run the football about as well as anybody in the Southeastern Conference. If they put that together again, the answer is going to be Brock Vandagriff.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And again, they're not going to request too much from him right out of the gate, but they got a tough schedule, man. This may be one of the toughest schedules Kentucky's had in a long, long time. So there will be games that he will be called upon to help them win. And I guess when that happens, the spotlight's really on him. We'll kind of figure out how good Brock is.
And then one more you put out, Shane. Who runs for more rushing yards? Trevor Etienne at Georgia, Montrell Johnson at Florida. Where would you lean on that one?
Rushing yards, I'd go Johnson. I just think he's a bell cow. Etienne's going to be a little bit of a committee. I did talk about him potentially being a Heisman candidate because he is flashy. And I do think he gets a lot of touchdowns, even through the air. As far as utility backs, there's not a better one in the business. But I do think that Johnson is the guy at the Florida Gators now, and they are going to feed the shit out of him.
Right, yeah. So I think that's the right answer, too. So, again, that's no shade to Etienne, but I think he may have more total yards.
Yeah.
But the question was rushing yards, and I think Montrell Johnson, money year for him, prove, in his mind that he is a better back than Etienne. So that'll be fascinating to see. And like you said, Billy loves to run the football. So that's where we're going to end with that. But, hey, I said it, Shane, first time we've ever done trivia. Let's get back to this saggy titties call real quick.
This is like the reverse of Aflac, huh?
And again, I swear, I didn't make this up. I was told this was a real play call from one of our play callers in the SEC, and surprisingly, very few people in the comments. I saw one or two get it, but very few got it, Shane. I saw a lot of Bobby Petrino comments. It ain't Bobby Petrino. It is none other than Mr. Lane Kiffin, as expressed to me. So, again, I'm trying to teach you guys here that, these coaches they can be a riot too. You know what?
Aflac.
All right, buddy. Hey, that's all I got on this one. You got anything before we hop off the line?
No. Well, my mom, she had a birthday today, so she's one of our biggest fans. One of the OGs, brother. When we had 3 listeners, one of them was hers. So happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
Happy birthday. But all right, hey, what a way to go out on the show, Shane. I appreciate you. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. A week from now, we'll be down at SEC Media Days down in Dallas. Can't wait for it. So, again, we'll see you then. And Steven and I will be doing a live show tomorrow, so tune in for that. But that's all we got, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols.